comes out immediately. We finish voting. Within 10 minutes, maximum of 10 minutes, we usually have got results.
This largely is
from
about...
there, we'll be having elections in the other remaining 20 counties, which it will be done on 4th March, because we had to push it with
the press is largely to just give you an update. You do realize as a party that we have been
in honor of
under the process of strengthening this party.
We pushed the
and
elections
because we want to ensure that we entrench it within our membership to make it a national party.
It has been our nature, our elections
is formidable.
We know that
is
it will
national.
be very
so
free,
I have with me here a number of leaders. But more particularly, we have Honorable
violence, and we are warning our party members to desist from violence, especially violence against women.
A series of directors from the party.
Elections, we have got allowed 500,000 contestants, and after the elections, we'll be having almost 180,000
Anthony Maura,
officials.
who is
and out of the 180,000
chairman of the National Elections Board, to give
at
an
least
update
30%
on the elections that are happening tomorrow.
That is something which the party leader is seriously emphasizing so much, and it must happen. So much SG. From there, tomorrow, as you are aware, by the end of the whole exercise, the party will be having 580,000 elected party officials in all the polling stations around the country. We are supposed to have elections in 20 counties. We know many remarks. We removed 2 counties. That is I tend to believe that because as you are aware, there is a safari rally which is happening. As you are aware, and you can see, yesterday, today, and you have witnessed tomorrow and Sunday, that we always ready to have these elections, and we are the first party. A massive registration since independence, and not only since independence, because even before independence, there is no other party which had done grassroots elections. So we are the first party in this country to do party elections. And we tend to believe that by the month of June, we have concluded the elections all the way up to the national delegates conference, which will happen in Kasarani. 818 any question or clarification? Polling stations, and we will be having our SG is going to, he comes from election officials, that is the returning officers and the coast. He is a very good Swahili, they are being trained today, he is also mentoring us. They are going to be addressing you people in Swahili. The devices we are going to use 9,000 devices. I also speak English. And we are training the elections officials.
Just a couple of other aspects.
Once we finish training,
that I wanted to emphasize.
Move to their respective stations, whereby they are expected to be there and start the elections by 8 tomorrow in the morning. As you are aware, our elections comes out immediately. We finish voting. Within 10 minutes, maximum of 10 minutes, we usually have got results. From there, we will be having elections in
the various elections that we have won.
20 counties, which it will be done on 4th March, because we had to push it with 1 week. We are supposed to have those elections on 28th, but we decided in respect or in honor of our former MP, Ngeno, we pushed the elections with 1 week. And we tend to believe that it has been our nature, our elections,
we have gone to the people of Kenya,
we know that it will be very free, verifiable,
we have been vindicated
and without
by
any
a very resounding
violence. And we are warning our party members to desist from violence,
most impacted
especially violence
by Kenya's
ahead of the
UDA
elections. We have got allowed 500,000 contestants, and after the elections, we will be having almost 180,000
be it in healthcare,
officials.
be it in agriculture,
and out of the 180,000 party officials,
housing,
at least 30% of them will be
inclusive
women.
economy,
That is
job
something
creation,
which the party leader is seriously emphasizing.
in terms of stabilization of the shilling,
there,
which has made our imports
by the end of
more
the whole
predictable.
exercise, the party will be having
the issue of cost of living, the reduction of food prices,
elected party officials in all the polling
but the
stations
negativity that
around the
continues
country.
in the social media and some of
those,
your
many
media
remarks,
houses
I tend to believe that
is a relentless effort to sabotage this government and
you
this
can
country.
see, and you have
But we are very
witnessed
grateful that the
that
people of Kenya
we are always
have
ready
stood
to
firm.
have these elections,
And as
you are the first party since independence.
Maura
And not only
encourages
since
our
independence,
members,
because even before independence, there is
who
no
are the
other party
pillars
which
of our
has done
popularity and our
grassroots
strength,
elections. So we are the first
participate in
party
these
in this
elections.
country to do
It's about
party
creating
elections.
popular
And
leaders.
we tend to believe that
It's
by
about
the month
ensuring
of
that we
June,
mobilize the
we have
grassroots.
concluded
It's about
the elections
creating
all the way
an extensive
up to the national delegates
national network
conference,
of leaders
which will happen in Kasarani.
and party mobilizers.
Any question or clarification?
We are fighting against people who are overrated in the media.
Our SG is going to
people with no track record. People who don't have the kind of political institutions that you build.
And
elections are won through discipline,
to be
strategy,
addressing you people in Swahili
and track record.
SG.
And I think the UDA encompasses all that. So
English.
I think to a large extent, but just
a
couple of other aspects is a demonstration. You know, we hardly, as I told you,
undeniably,
some of the secretary generals are constantly in the media. They wake up in the morning
Kenya's
and come to
most popular party.
Your newsrooms.
And
then you amplify those voices, which is fair enough.
Elections that we have won.
The independence of this country that we have in terms of democracy. But other secretary generals come to the office
that we have won.
and put up a political structure. That's what wins an election. If we were to rely on some of your media houses, which I see here, this will have not been winning a single election.
What I call
if Kenyans were to rely on headlines from the Standard, we will never be winning a single election. But the country is more wiser than that.
But every time
of some of these media houses
people of Kenya
and the continued sabotage,
we have been
some
vindicated
of them
by a very
wish on this country. We are grateful. And tomorrow we'll see the compliments of the membership of the UDA coming out in their numbers to choose their leaders.
Programs.
And then we will do another repeat session of the same elections on the 9th of April.
So amazing.
Next month.
Be it in healthcare,
for another
be it in
22 counties.
Be it in
the repeats for
housing,
Kakamega and Nakuru
be it in inclusive
on the
economy,
28th. Nakuru was postponed because of the WRC, the World Rally Championships, so that we allow our people and our supporters to partake
the issue
of
cost of living.
So I think what we are trying to say is
but the negativity
UDA is where democracy is in process.
Social media and some of
demonstrably,
your media houses.
UDA is the only party that has the footprint to run an election anywhere and win everywhere. Those who say they are kingpins of certain areas, we have flowed them repeatedly and we will beat them again. We are winning in new territory that were hitherto never UDA territories. We have grabbed
popularity and our strength
significant seats from
in these
Jubilee.
elections.
No, Jubilee has not been able to win an election.
Popular leaders.
Apart from you guys overrating
it's about
its party
ensuring
leader.
that we mobilize the grassroots.
He could not influence an outcome of an election when he was president.
Extensive.
He cannot influence it as a retired president
of leaders
who appears once or twice to just say things that he did himself never did.
People who are overrated.
So that kind of things, those kinds of
people with no track record,
demonstrable,
people who don't have
gains
the kind of
political
political institutions that we are building.
Tomorrow again,
elections are won
as the elections take root.
Strategy.
We were just meeting the deputy party leader, who is the deputy president of Kenya.
The UDA
fire
encompassers all that.
Fireman himself.
So I think to a large extent,
here tomorrow also, again to give you a further update.
One of the reasons we call you
the
here
progress and the status of our grassroots
is a demonstration.
elections.
We had
hopefully at 10 a.m. tomorrow,
told you,
so that we continue to keep you guys engaged.
Secretary Generals are constantly
with the hope that some of you will use your reasonable faculties
and come to
start accurate reporting of matters of this state, and to start loving this country a little more,
so that's the independence of this
tempering
country
your hatred a little less, so that we are able to make
other
progress.
Secretary Generals come to the office and put up a political structure. That's what wins an election. If we were to rely on some of your media houses, which I see here, this will have not been winning a single election. If Kenyans were to rely on headlines from the Standard, we will never be winning a single election. But the country is more wiser than that. They know the ownership of some of these media houses and the continued sabotage. Some of them wish on this country. But we are grateful. And tomorrow we'll see the compliments of the membership of the UDA coming out in their numbers to choose their leaders. And then we will do another repeat session of the same elections on the 9th of April, next month, for another 22 counties. The repeats for Kakamega and Nakuru will be on the 28th. Nakuru was postponed because of the WRC, the World Rally Championships, so that we allow our people and our supporters to partake to that event. So I think what we are trying to say is
UDA is where democracy is in process and demonstrably. UDA is the only party that has the footprint to run an election anywhere and win everywhere. Those who say they are kingpins of certain areas, we have floored them repeatedly, and we will beat them again. We are winning in new territory that were hitherto never UDA territories. We have grabbed significant seats from Jubilee. No, Jubilee has not been able to win an election, apart from you guys overrating its party leader. He could not influence an outcome of an election when he was president. He cannot influence it as a retired president who appears have once or twice to just say things that he didn't do, he himself never did, you know? So that kind of things, those kinds of demonstrable gains by the UDA party. Tomorrow again, as the elections take root, we were just meeting the deputy party leader, who is the deputy president of Kenya, fireman himself. He will be here tomorrow also again to give you a further update on the progress and the status of our grassroots elections, hopefully at 10 a.m. tomorrow, so that we continue to keep you guys engaged, with the hope that some of you will use your reasonable faculties to start accurate reporting of matters of this state and to start loving this country a little more and tempering your hatred a little less, so that we are able to make progress as a party and as a country. Lakini hapo wengine wenu hawakuja kutafuta story, wamekuja kutwist. Sasa hivi niseme ka joke kamoja kwa tandaza, mtaficha hiyo joke. That's how much of a joke some of you in the media have become, or some of your members of some of the media houses have become. They will take the joke just now. Nikimwambia tandaza kitu hivi, badala kuongelea hii story substance. And then you wonder, this young man or woman and his editors, or her editors, kwani walitoka shule gani? Yeah? Off cuff. Ile kitu sasa hivi nimwambie Mwaura iko hivi, watachukua hiyo. So you've come here to actually derail, to misinform, misreport, to sabotage. But I can tell you, time and again, the people of Kenya, I have said it, I will take it upon myself to consistently, because I'm a human rights person with the background, there is no right to disinform this country. There is no right to sabotage a government. There is no right inherent in you to constantly keep telling lies. But we've allowed you to go forward in the ambit that you think you're exercising your freedom. I'm not diverting, but I think as a SG of this party, I don't respond usually to most of these things that we see, because a lot of Kenyans have tended to ignore. But I must continue to make the point, because I see many young faces here. Don't allow owners of your media houses and a few angry editors or sub-editors to destroy this country. I make this point in every press conference I make, because I think it is important as a country to start having and respecting what is genuinely being done. You know, kama sisi minorities, we are fairly respected in this country. Alikuwa tuko kwa meza, siku hizi tuko kwa meza, tuko kwa press conference kama sahi, tuko mahali nyingi sana. Because yesterday, KRA, the commissioner, a new commissioner was appointed, part of strengthening minorities. The chairman of the National Land Commission comes from Kwale. Hii inaonesha inclusivity bwana. Hitherto we never counted in this country. Alafu nyinyi mna expect utakuja utuambie mambo ya mtu mwingine huko hiyo maeneo sijua Munyoro sijui nani. But anyway, we are strengthening this party, and that's what it is important. And we are strengthening it not only through elections. Elections is building the grassroots infrastructure, but on the performance of this government and the inclusivity of our economics and our politics. Asanteni sana. Want to say something?
Asante sana SG. Kwanza, kama viongozi walivyosema, chama ni wanachama kwa grassroots, sio kwa majukwaa, sio kwa ma press conferences vile wengine wanafanya, sio ile mikutano mikubwa. Chama ni vile ambavyo UDA sasa hivi inafanya.
Weke chini kidogo. Imemficha. Ikunje.
I don't think the mic was tall. It's because I'm short. Asante sana. Kwa hivyo kitu ambacho kinafanyika ndio kitu ambacho kinatakikana kiongozi yoyote ambaye anataka kuongoza hii nchi au anafanya. Aende mashinani. Saa hizi tuna uchaguzi wa polling stations. Polling stations zetu ni maelfu ya polling stations. Na tuna uchaguzi kwa kila polling station. Watu 20 kwa kila polling station. Sasa ikiwa mtu baadaye atakuja aseme kwamba labda uchaguzi haukuwa wa huru na haki, kwamba labda kulikuwa na kura zimeibwa. Zimeibwa wapi? Na kura zinatoka kwa polling station. Tuna officials wetu kwa kila polling station 20 ambao atasimamia, na hizo ni kura tayari ambazo zinaanzia pale. Kwa hivyo wananchi wa Kenya waanze kujua kwamba kura inapigwa kwa polling station na kule ndio UDA iko. Hawa wengine ambao wako kwenye majukwaa, ole wao. Kwa sababu watakuja waseme kwamba kura yao imeibwa, na wakiulizwa imeibwa wapi, watakuwa hawezi kusema kwa sababu hata polling station zenyewe haziko. Na kumalizia, tuwe kama SG alivyosema, hii nchi ni yetu, siasa itakuwa na itaendelea, lakini tujue hatuna mahali pengine kwa kwenda. Kila mtu ana jukumu la kulinda amani katika nchi na kuunga serikali ya Daktari William Samoei Ruto, kwa sababu ameweza kuhakikisha kwamba amani inapatikana kwa kipindi chake ambacho amekuwa kwa uongozini. Sote tunakubali kwamba amani inapatikana, na amani kishapatikana ndio hapo tunaweza kufanya shughuli zetu ndogo ndogo. Hata ikiwa tutasema ajira hakuna, lakini ikiwa unauza maji yako, ikiwa unauza njugu zako, unaifanya kwa sababu kuna amani. Asanteni, Mwenyezi Mungu atubariki, tukijua kwamba serikali ni ya UDA sio tu kwa msimu, lakini mpaka kufikia 2032 na kuendelea, kwa sababu ya hii misingi ambayo inawekwa saa hizi. Shukrani.
Sawa, tutachukua maswali moja ama mawili. Yes. Allegations?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
From MSC, the former ODMSG, saying the MOU has expired. From where you sit, because you're part of the team that drafted the document, has it expired?
First and foremost, the timetable is such that the ODM will have its NDC on the 27th, and hopefully after the NDC, they will also come up with those names of technical people. And this technical committee, the purpose of it is to draft the framework or the terms of reference upon which the negotiating team will work on. So I think that's work in progress, and sooner than later, we should be having that technical committee in place, particularly after the NDC by ODM. That is, at least to my last understanding, the steps that will be taken towards formation of the technical team that will work on the framework, that will work on the terms of reference, and then set up and then midwife the negotiating team, which will largely be a bipartisan process of parliamentarians. You know, my brother, Sifuna and his team are still stuck in that old constitutional dogma where there was an opposition and a government. The new constitutional arrangements allow us a framework of bipartisanship between the minority side and the majority side. And these are two parties that have, out of sheer voluntary or sheer goodwill, decided to work together. That working arrangement does not distinguish upon the death of Raila Odinga. They are trying to tie Raila's death as also extinguishing the life of the bipartisan process so created. It's a very simplistic way of looking at it. If God had willed and Raila Odinga was alive, I think the process and the outcome will still be the same. To simply try now to bring innuendos. And there's nothing wrong to extend the life of a process on the basis that significant progress has been made by a certain team. I took personally as Secretary General, if you do recall, on the 7th of March, the MOU of last year, 2025, that MOU in the same KICC was read by Sifuna and myself. But not signed by Sifuna and myself. It was signed by the two party leaders committing their parties to a bipartisan process. That party leader now is Oburu Odinga. And because of that commitment, look at that MOU of 7th of March. It was signed, I read it, and I even read the part where I said it will be signed by these two party leaders, His Excellency William Ruto and His Excellency the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga. The fact that those two leaders were acting in an institutional capacity, that responsibility then transitions to the party leader, Oburu Odinga. And the same discretion that was exercised in free will, voluntary, that MOU was signed. You heard the president saying we signed it in their own motion, under no coercion, to just make Kenya a perfect union. And highlighted 10 agenda points that they thought were important in terms of strengthening our democracy and our institutions and responding to some of the economic challenges. Just the mere fact that now Baba passed on, there cannot then be the reason for Sifuna and Orengo and that Uhuru kind of cacophony of puppets to now try to run innuendos to try and defeat the very process that is supposed to be an ongoing process for the length of time until this matter is successfully concluded. And it's a bipartisanship process. We have a minority and a majority side who've committed to working together on topical issues of national importance and to meet and to address certain challenges. So I think he's misguided, and I think he knows that he enjoys a lot more likes in the social media. He knows that you guys are looking for sound bites. I am told by members of parliament, of the Senate, he will go in, say something, put it in TikTok and leave. I think that was meant for TikTok. It was not meant for factual analysis of the situation. I know that he said pesa ya Uhuru haijakuwa madhambi, so probably alimwambia Junet, so probably anapata pesa ya Uhuru. Na hata kule masenate walimwaccuse akasema pia yeye kabla hajaongea ama akiongea vibaya ni kwa ajili alipata ama hakupata pesa. So maongeo yake pia must be taken in that context, that there are patrons who support him, and then there are likes in the social media, and then there is a TikTok content creation, and many other things. So I think just to finalize, on that particular process, I sat with that committee severally. And even because it was said that the two parties will finance that process, it is when Sifuna was going for various concerts, then with Mushomba, even now Mushomba is with us, yeah, and other, politicians, I and Junaid Mohammed were working tirelessly to see that committee works. The UDA party financed that committee to the extent of its obligation. Junaid Mohammed supported the secretariat through, again, the party systems to ensure that committee worked. Yet the SG, whose mandate that was everywhere in your media houses and newsrooms. Badala ya kuja kwa chama ufanye kazi, yuko newsroom. Si mimi mara nyingi mnaniona niko hapa. Yeye mara nyingi mkimtafuta yuko kwa newsroom. So that's where you run a party from its office and its institutions. So he didn't commit himself to even ensuring that committee was working, even when the late Raila Odinga was alive. The few times we met to discuss the progress of that committee, even when the late Raila Odinga was alive, Sifuna was not present. So you can then not cast aspersion of a process that you did not know how it was conceptualized, how it was actualized, and where it is headed, and where the objectives are. So I think the institution of the MOU was signed by the free will of the two-party leaders, and the two-party leaders are at liberty to continue to extend the mandate, because the role of that party leadership has now transitioned to Oburu Odinga. There was an anticipation that there will be a report, a final report, on the 7th of March. If by the time that mandate was expiring, and the committee did request that there is an extension of that mandate by 60 days, and that mandate was granted. How many times have we extended the life of committees, working groups, commissions, hearings, because there is some more assignment to be finalized? And that committee was formed way after the MOU was signed. The MOU was signed on 7th of March 2025. The committee was set up sometime in August of 2025. And it had some structural challenges to start work immediately. And when it started work, it did an extraordinarily good job, and we thought that it is important, upon their request, to extend their mandate. It is not rocket science, it is common sense, it is not something new, it has happened time and again. From? Okay.
Whatever government is working on. But as for you, UDA and NSCD, what's your plan so that the mama on ground, she can understand what government is doing? Because if social media is misleading, that means one Gen Z took a picture or a video, goes on the village, aonyeshe mamake, serikali ifanye hivi na hivi. But as for you, kama saizi uko hapa, unatuambia chenye serikali inafanya. But yule mwananchi haijamfikia, pia yule mama haelewi Kiswahili chenye unatumia. But what are you going to do so that yule mama can understand what you are?
But the evidence is so scientific. We have won elder elections, and that mama was voting and did not listen to your TikTok. That's why I said they were voting purely on account of TikTok and social media, UDA will have lost everything. But they have won everything because the party has a way of getting to the ground, and the impact of its own policies and programs is there for everybody to witness. And in fact, most of these places where we are winning elections are those that have been greatly impacted by the policies and the frameworks and the programs of the UDA broad-based government. So kama ingekuwa ile mambo ile Munyoro anasema ni ya ukweli na yule mama haelewi vile mnamuita mama. Wajua kuna siku mmoja alisema Wanjiku anaelewa nini. Wanjiku became our symbolism. You know, some of you here think just because tunaishi town mko na akili mingi zaidi wale wanakaa kule. Wale mashinani pia wanajua ile kitu wanataka and their aspirations. They might be a bit disconnected from what we, you know, the urban Gen Z is very different from the rural Gen Z. The rural Gen Z anachukua subsidized fertilizer, anaenda anapanda anafanya ukulima, anapata do. Urban Gen Z anaongojea kazi. Na wakati haijakuja anaenda kwa social media anaanza matusi. Na vitu kama hivyo. There are two various different demographics of the same age set, subsect, but with different challenges. So, kama yule mama alikuwa hajui hivyo, singekuwa tunasikiza ile mambo ya Munyoro, Mbere isengepatikana, Muminji isengepatikana, na Evorore isengepatikana. Kama ingekuwa nasikiza hivyo, yule jamaa yule ya sijui Tawe, ingekuwa sisi Kabras ingekuwa ikupatikana, na hii Malava ingekuwa wamepata yeye mtu ya Tawe, lakini watu wakaambia Tawe wewe.
I think the other time we were here, I explained to everybody that our budget was from the other elections of the 20 counties we did, including this one. Our budget is allowed 150 million. That is the amount of money we are going to use for this exercise. And you know, now the money is usually allocated even by Parliament. So these are not the days whereby we always go to the well-wishers. Number two, once we finish our elections on 14th, then the disputes committee comes and sits down and starts hearing the disputes, which would have arisen from the people who have been dissatisfied from the ground. And incidentally, because of the devices we are using, we hardly get any disputes. I can tell you for sure, because the result And even tomorrow, the media people, who have been very supportive, since I became the chairman of the National Election Board in the year 2021, you have been very supportive in my constitutional dispensation. And I want you tomorrow to follow the results from our website, and you see how the results comes in. Each and every vote, as it is being voted, it counts. And at the end of the day, at 5, within 5 minutes, the total election is usually done by the gadget, and the results are usually out for everybody to see. That is why we hardly had any doubts. And I can tell you for sure the nominations we have done with those by-elections, that is why we produce the best candidates. And I can tell you for sure the way the SG is doing is saying, ours is not coming to the media houses, but wait and see what is going to happen in 2027. Since I became the chair, I have never lost any elections, and I'm not going to do any elections because I do my homework properly, and I produce the best candidates, and I might do my work honestly without shouting from the rooftop. And tomorrow you'll be using around 9,000 gadgets, and everybody, anybody, anywhere can follow the results as they are coming out.
But Nation, the last time you said UDA spends millions on elections, I remember that. That was actually in the Nation. But we are audited by the Auditor General's office. Our funds are from the Consolidated Fund under the PPF, Political Parties Fund. And I am the accounting officer of that fund. And one of the things that money is supposed to do is to strengthen parties and democracy. So by the time we are done with this election, there will be an audited account. And by the way, you will find that the figures are the 150, and these other phases is 231 million. It is in public domain. You know, we are not. We also get a fairly significant allocation from the Political Parties Fund. We get about, we are the biggest party in the country, and we get about 800 million annually from the PPF, and then their member contributions. So Mukija, this it's not that tuna struggle mahali. We get this money from PPF and from our parties, from our members to strengthen the party's operations, and we use it for that purpose. So to use a budget of 231 to give you a grassroots infrastructure million is a fair deal for the party and for the people of Kenya, and it is audited eventually by the Auditor General's office. We will find it in our financial reportings of the year 2024, 2025, 2026.
And to add on that, because you have asked a very good question, because all these are taxpayers' money, and we are supposed to be open about it. I have said that tomorrow we are hiring 19,000 election officials. If you do a simple calculations, each and every official, each and every day we are giving that official a moderate of 1,500 for 3 days. You can do just simple calculation. So you're even creating employment for the next 3 days. That is how we are touching the rights of those people. While you are in town, you are saying that there's nothing which is happening about UDA. Go there and talk to those youths who are there. The people who are conducting our elections, I can tell you for sure confidently, are the youths, the university students. Even sitting of these gadgets, each and every day, we usually have around 200 young people who are doing the data seeding. And one of these 5 days, I'm going to invite you to come there and see what happens there. It is something which is usually so scientific and deliberately done that we even be amazed. And we only do this so that we can entrench our democratic principles. Give credit where it is due. Others are not even doing elections, they are doing nothing, they are being given that money, and you are heaping praises on them. It's as simple as that. And we are here even in 2027. You conduct the usual credible elections we conduct, and at the end of the day, you see the most credible and the biggest party coming about. Any other question?
My name is Collins Research from the 47. My question goes to the SG. SG, how soon should we expect formal talks between UDA and so much. And then also comment something on Kindiki. Is Kindiki secure in that position because ODM is very...
Who is Kindiki?
Professor.
Nasema kama ambaye mnakaa college moja ba. One, I gave a time frame to the question there that we expect first and foremost to have the technical committee, which will develop the terms of reference and the framework for the negotiations, and that I expect will be set up after the 27th March NDC of the ODM party. So and then after that, we expect the technical committee to take a couple of weeks to come up with the framework and the issues and the terms of references, and then on the basis of that, then a negotiating team will be formed. You know, the negotiations will be on a raft of issues, including coalition building. So haraka iko, lakini pia tunaangalia 2027. So we'll give ourselves sufficient time to ensure that we exhaust all matters conclusively headed to the 2027 elections with ODM. Number two, Kenya Kwanza is still alive. This government is Kenya Kwanza that became broad-based government. A lot of the commitments that were made under the Kenya Kwanza government are still alive and well. And therefore, nobody is affected by this resolution or by this process. And I think all of them, including the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Speaker of the Senate, who is from the Power Party, are all supportive of this process. Ministers like Alfred Mutua, who are from Chap Chap, and everybody, all the commitments that were made continue to still bind us as the Kenya Kwanza broad-based government. And finally, you know, that is not that for us the issue of Professor Kindiki is an issue that should not actually has the absolute free will to choose the deputy president or the running mate. As we had said it, and we state what we stated in the Coast over the weekend, you cannot separate the presidency. These are not two separate positions, that you are a president and there's a deputy president position. We do not vote or nominate a deputy president. We nominate the presidential candidate, who then uses his own discretion to nominate his deputy president. And therefore, that is not in contest. It is not a matter to negotiate about. We negotiate about the structure of government. The presidency is one single unit, and the president has the absolute mandate, or the candidate, to choose his running mate. And therefore, it is not a subject of whether Professor is safe or not. I think the UDA deputy presidential candidate is none other than Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki. Asanteni sana. Mungu awabariki.